ahead.
Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha, Raka, Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, spreading the good news of the gospel, teaching this truth throughout the earth, and who rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect, push the word to the four corners of the earth in all sincerity, and risking their life to do so.
Khan, shalom to the elect of Israel. Wa Abba Babal. Alright, the Israelites are the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery, and that's why our names were changed. They show you movies, which are really documentaries, like 12 years of slavery, where they gave him a different name. And remember, they beat it into him. Another one is Roots, where they changed Kuta Kente to Toby. So our names were changed in slavery. All right, Judah, the so-called American Negro. Benjamin, the so-called West Indian. Levi, the so-called Haitian. Simeon, the so-called Dominicans. Zebulun, the so-called Guatemalans to the so-called Panamanians. Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. Manasseh, the so-called Cubans. Gad, the so-called North American Indians. Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians. Naphtali, the so-called Argentinians to the so-called Chileans. Asher, the so-called Colombians to the so-called Uruguayans. And then Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, which make up the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and out of these people, which have been scattered throughout the world, there's a remnant that are going to be saved. All right, and it tells you in America that there's going to be 1/3 that are here that are going to be saved. 2/3 are going to perish. But there's a remnant throughout the whole world that's going to be gathered. But it gives us the numbers that the majority of Israel will not hear this word in Babylon because they're drunk on the Babylonian juice. All right? One of the things that they do is they deceive you with bread and circus. And today, it was begun the Kentucky Derby. All right, that's a gross darkness upon the people. You got a lot of Jake that get deceived into using all their money to gamble, you know, and it's all set up, it's all rigged, just like the rest of the sports. They showed you they had magnets in the footballs, right? So everything's rigged because we're really in a prison that was created for the Israelites. And in this prison, they changed our names, all right, from being Judah to now they call you a Negro. Ephraim, now they call you a Puerto Rican. All right? And they scoff and they talk shit about us. But really, we're the lost tribes of the Israelites that were prophesied to come back into remembrance. Let me grab one verse real quick before you... All right, go ahead, open up with what you got. Did you already get it?
We're going to start on Psalms? Or?
Yeah, go ahead and get that one because I said we're going to open with that.
Okay.
And then we're going to go ahead and get that other one. Go ahead.
Okay, in the book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 1, the Psalm of David, fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity.
Right. So don't worry yourself about all this unbelief, because you know you got these men, you know, being shown that they don't believe. All right, don't worry about them. They come into this to be condemned. All right, we got to work out our own faith in fear and trembling. All right, and we're self-conscious as a being. That's why we communicate to each other, and we got to know whether the Lord's dealing with us or not. All right, and not every brother is a prophet. That's the thing too. All right, there's men that are helpers. All right, but it says get in where you fit in. All right, so the Lord has an order, and don't worry about all these Israelites that are going to perish. Just bring forth the order that's been commanded, that we go out and preach the gospel, the good news that Yahweh Shai is going to save a remnant. Did you have more of that?
There's more still.
Go ahead.
Okay. This says, This is Psalms chapter 37, verse 2 now. For they shall soon be cut up down like the grass, and wither as the green herb.
And be as they weren't even there. So don't worry about these reprobates. Don't worry about what the wicked... You know, we got to pay attention to it. We got to be circumspect. We got to do our report as watchmen, giving Israel that warning, looking for that MOTB to, you know, make its appearing. But we're not worried about the opinions of these unbelieving people, whether it's a heathen or whether it's an Israelite that don't believe. All right, either way, they fulfill prophecy. Remember, what we have in our hands is a sure word of prophecy. How do you know? You go back to the history. The history happened exactly like the Lord said it would in the Bible. I got an example. Hold that real quick. Okay. It says in Romans 9, which this is Apostle Paul writing to the Israelites in Rome. It says in verse 26, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, which in all the other slaveries we knew who we were. But here in Babylon the Great, we were lied to and said we were so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. That's why we were like dead people, right? That were left on the side of the road and you can't identify them. That's literally what Esau has Jake walking around in the mindset of as a dead body just left on the side of the road. All right? So it says that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, which these heathen set up the lie. What was the lie? It was Christianity. All right? This is the lie. All right? And they said to the Israelites, you are not the people. It says, which I read history books, and in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, there was a writing talking about the Israelites going into slavery, right? Because they wrote history not just from the Israelites, but from other nations. They actually had documents talking about the things that we did in the past lives. And they said the Edomite, the reason why they didn't enslave his ass is, you know, he's speaking from a carnal mind, a heathen mind, but he said that's a weak, puny man, right? What could he build with that? And I did a sit down on it. I remember that. It was a book I got from the library, and it was like the writings of the Assyrians, and they spoke about doing business with the Egyptians, all right, the Hamites. But then when they spoke about the Edomites, they said they were weak and feeble. That's why no one really tried to conquer them. All right? But they're the sword. That's why the Lord blessed them with that weapon. And when they got that weapon, they're very proud. And the Lord is coming to set that pride down. It says, there shall they be called the sons of the living power. Yasharallah. He, Prince, Power. Which we're breaking down these scriptures. That's why you're going to look and be like, damn, they really know what they're talking about, because that power is with us. Our power is a power of knowledge. All right, we know. We have the knowing of past, present, and future. All right, go ahead, Nicole. Go back to your scripture.
Okay, this is Psalms 37, verse 3. Trust in the Lord Yahweh and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed.
Right? And what you don't know, because you know, unless you're studying, in the Psalms where it says God, it would be Elohim. So literally the Psalms were songs written in prophecy for the elect in these last days. This is the song that we're singing. The Holy Scriptures, the whole roll. See? So you got to be focused on this truth. And you know what? There's a movie called Bliss. I recommend it. I don't know the actor's name, but you'll recognize him when you see it. Or the female, I can't remember her name, but she's a famous actress. But in that movie, it shows you got to choose between the worlds. You're either going to choose the world and this dying place, or you're going to choose life and continue to live in righteousness, knowing that you're delivered through Yahweh Shai, drawing closer to the Lord. It literally says that, draw nigh unto him and he will draw nigh unto you. But his right hand, Yahweh Shai, will not spare the sinners when he comes. This is why we're supposed to repent and return as Israelites. We're in sinful flesh, but we have to return to being Israelites. We have to leave this way of life of being a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native American Indian and go back to what it was to be a Judite. You know, and I'm talking about in the knowledge. I'm not talking about going back on a plane and try to get the land back and build things there with our bare hands. That's not right. What I'm talking about is spiritually knowing what you're involved in. The Israelites in the past always, at the end of their captivity, returned, which we can't return because the oppressor is there as a counterfeit, all right? But we're supposed to return in the mind, all right? This is a spiritual thing. This is a spiritual war, all right? Go ahead.
It says, delight thyself also in the Lord Yahweh, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy ways unto the Lord Yahweh. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass.
See? So all you got to do is wait. That's the power of Jacob. All right? The power of Jacob is just to wait, and the Lord will give it to you. How long did Jacob have to wait for his wives? You know? In a total of, I believe it was 21 years. All right? Because he had to wait 7 for one and then 14 for another. And then he stayed there for a while. And then pretty much when he left, when he came out of there, Laban chased him down and wanted to kill him. See? Why? Because Laban was getting rich with Jacob there. America don't want to let these people go because we're the cash cow. These other countries, they want to fight America because they want this delicate female. See? But the Lord is jealous for us. And I just seen this actually through the spirit on that X. This dude had a good-looking chick, and this is a warning for you women. That's why you should be out there showing your body. But she was a good-looking chick, and she had her ass out, and you could tell they were all Jake. But one wanted that chick so bad, he said, "I'll beat your ass and take her." He ended up beating that dude up, and he could have raped her. But he just punched her in her face and then walked away. But it shows you, you know, that pecking order is that, you know, women are just possessions. And we're about to go into a great time of violence. And so these women that you see very proud, I don't need a man, they're going to be put in their place just by the pecking order that takes place. All right? And the men that are like women, right? They have a vain sense of power. They're going to be humbled. They're going to be put to death. All right? Because really, only the strong will survive, and the Lord is with us. The strength of the earth is with us. Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai is with us. And that's why we're prophesying. That's why we speak the truth. We have no guile in our mouth. The ones that are trying to deceive you are on your media every day. Right? Saying that there ain't nothing to worry about. America's going to be healed. Everything's going to be fine. It's all going to go back. All these companies are going to come back and make America rich again. Right? All this shit is bullshit. What's really going to happen is the heathen are going to go into slavery. They're going to fight, trying not to go into slavery, but they're going to go into slavery, and that's why they're coming down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. Because really, when you do the math, these heathen are going to be getting their head kicked off their shoulders every day for 1,000 years, and there ain't going to be no one to pray to. Who are they going to pray to? In fact, they're going to have to applaud us and thank you. Thank you. You see? It's going to be horrible for these heathen. All right? Go ahead, Yoko.
I got this one here. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29. He gives power to the faint, and to him who has no might, he increases strength.
And that's why you want to humble yourself. See, if you're proud, you got power, the Lord's coming to set pride down. So what do you say? Humble yourself. Go ahead.
Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted.
Wait, so what is that an example of? A young man that believes he could just run all day and nothing can stop me. Death ain't never going to catch me. Right? Because he has all this energy, not thinking that death could get him at any moment. Go ahead.
But they who wait for the Lord, power shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint.
Walk and not faint. Meaning forget. See? So you got these men that want to forget the truth. They said, I didn't believe, so fucking what? You fulfill prophecy. We're just here to keep it moving now. See? Because the Lord's setting this division from the sheep, the lambs on the right, the sheep on the right, and the goats on the left. The goats on the left are the cursed that are going to perish with Edom. All right? Because they believe in Edom science, which really the science of this world is foolishness. All right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18, verse 2. That the Lord, my power, is my rock, and my fortress, and my deliverer, my power, my rock, in whom I take refuge, my shield, and the horn of my salvation.
Wait. So the horn is what? Us doing this work. We're not doing this by our own power. Being spiritual would know that, hey, I know this ain't me doing it. It's the Lord doing it. See, because you know in yourself whether the Lord's doing it or you're not doing it. And it's not always the spirit from the Lord. There's demons too. So you got to try these spirits to see if they are of the Lord. See, you got to filter them through the Word. And that's our power. To know what was right according to the Word of Yahweh and what was wrong. That's why we're supposed to be able to stand boldly in this salvation and calling for a certain way things are supposed to be ordered in a priestly manner and in a princely manner. Because we're the princes of power, Yasharallah. We are the upright ones, and we have the right to demand certain things according to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that's why the world is changing. Because this word doesn't return void. It goes out and does what the Lord requires of it, which Yahweh Shai is commanding angels to fulfill it. Go ahead, Tom.
And the horn of my salvation, my stronghold.
Our stronghold right here, we're holding strong. Call y'all Taza. A stronghold. They got that movie with Brad Pitt, and he's in the tank with the crew. That movie is called A Stronghold. And what it is the tank breaks down, and they have no backup. They only have so much ammo, and they say we either run or we stand here and fight. So they made that tank a stronghold. They used it for armor, and they, try to kill as many, put down as many enemies as they can with what they had. Eventually, it came down to knives, right? And only one guy survived because he was in the mud, and one not even seen him, and the Spirit of the Lord moved him. That's what it showed in the movie. All right, because the goings of man are by the Lord's will. So that man survived, even though one of them saw him. A spirit came upon him and said, just leave him alone and let's just go. And he went back to marching, even though he was on the opposite side, which it says when the Lord is pleased with you, he'll allow your enemies to be at peace with you. All right? So even though all this judgment is coming on the earth, it's coming on the earth for the wicked and them that do wickedly. All right? It's not coming on the earth to destroy the righteous. All right? And he that does righteous is righteous. Go ahead.
One more. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18. So power has given both his promise and his oath. These two things, this is the NLT. These two things are unchangeable because it is impossible for power to lie.
Wait, go back and read that again. That's an important thing.
18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because this is a testament, a living will. There's power in these words. All right? I just saw a robot just beat the shit out of its scientists on X, and they said it was because of an error of one word, which even the DNA shows you that all this is the word of Yahweh playing out. That's what the reality is. Yahweh Shai is the illustrator, which he created everything using the Elohim. The Elohim are here today as the elect, and just like in the beginning, the Elohim said, let there be light. The Lord has the elect right now calling for that light. Yahweh Shai and the destruction of this place, which is in the power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. See? And that's the power that we have through our heritage, our being descendants of Israel, Jacob, the son of Isaac, and Abraham. Go ahead.
I'll just go up one. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 17. Power also bound himself with an oath, so that those who received the promise could be perfectly sure that he would never change his mind.
Isabella, right? The name Isabel, it means God's oath. All right? The Lord made an oath, which that spirit is upon those words. This is a testimony to this world. He created it. Who the fuck is Esau that makes laws today? This is the law of the creator of this earth. You see? And it's for his people, the Israelites, that they would remember themselves. And we would regain being sovereign in the world and even in the universe. We will rule. And this is the beginning of it. Us telling you what it is, who we are, and who sent us. Using the word of Yahweh, which has the Holy Spirit for the elect's sake. And it testifies of Yahweh Shai. Alright, so we're in the name. Yahweh, our Father, sent us in Yahweh Shai. We're testifying of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is when we're coming back to regain the earth. Alright, just like if you bought, say you bought a something and you said, hey, my son's going to come pick it up. You got an adult son and he came, paid for it, and I'll be back when it's ready. He don't return until it's ready, right? But it's his already. That's what we are. We're his already. We were Yahweh's, and he gave us to Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai is the man, the God, the supreme being, which if he was like a man, he would look like Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai is the only begotten son of Yahweh. Alright, and he came for the Israelites. Go ahead.
So power had given both his promise and his oath. These two things are unchangeable.
Now wait, Yahweh Shai came to who? To the Jew first, and then to the Gentile. He sent out his apostles, right? He didn't do that to no other nation. It was for the Israelites and these Christian churches, right? And these other false religions, no matter what they say, the original document, it's only for the Israelites. I don't care what version of it you make up, it's always for the Israelites. All right? Even in this wicked world, all right, when a man leaves a will or a testament to his child, now you might tax the shit out of him, which is wicked, but no one's allowed to interfere but Esau right now, right? Because Esau could go in there and take your shit, right? In certain situations, and that's him trying to be like God. You see, Edom, the so-called Caucasian, they got a God complex, starting with their elite that rule the world. See, that's why the world's in a wicked state. But the Lord's coming back to put it in order and set up King David and the rest of the elect to rule, and they're going to rule according to what's written in the Bible. Go ahead.
Unchangeable, because it is impossible for power to lie.
Right, because this is reality. All reality sits on his word. Go back to the history. The Bible becoming a written book, a printed book. That's why the printing press was even invented. You see? All these prophecies are fulfilled, and the earth, in fact, folds to the Lord's will. All right? That's why even the other nations, though they have dots against us, they can't do anything against us, just like Laban couldn't do anything against us. Esau couldn't do nothing against our forefather Jacob. Ham couldn't do nothing against our forefathers. All right? Because the Lord's with us. All right? Go ahead. And in fact, in their little, small, bitty mind, they're troubled because they know the power is with us. That's what you got to remember. Our name, Yasharallah, he, Prince, power. So it's someone else saying it about another person. He is a Prince of power. His God is with him. He's pretty much undefeatable. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to think of another word, but it left me. You know that Samson, where he kills the 1,000 Philistines? They say it right there. When he starts smashing them, and then they get all on top of him, and he throws them off, and it shows that he's more than a man. He has more power than a man. Right? They say in that part, you can hear it in the background, his power is with him. He's invincible. That's what they say. That's what's up with us. See, for some of us, not many of us, because we are precious and few, the Lord's going to allow Esau to sacrifice us to fulfill prophecy. But the ones that are protected, there's some brothers that are going to get the power, and the Lord's going to flex on these heathen and their technology. Like they got these robots and shit. That ain't shit. The Lord can make them robots attack you like I just seen in that video. That's what's heavy about it. All right? Because they're spirits. And those spirits obey our Father Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai. And we come in the authority of Yahweh Shai. That's why we read from the Word. Go ahead.
Therefore, we who have fled to Him for refuge and a refuge can have great confidence as we hope to the hope that lies before us.
Right. The Lord, come on, you build a refuge, you check the stability of it. You've been delivered many times from other things. Remember these things. That's what our forefather Jacob said. He said, hey, the Lord brought me through the Jordan. You think that was an easy thing? With all kinds of people carrying all kinds of stuff? And children? No. He said, hey, if the Lord's with me, hey, how did I come through this Jordan? You know, by the Lord's will. And that's how you got to look at things. Hey, the Lord brought me through all this. You telling me this is going to take me out? It's not prophesied. See?
Only according to the Lord's will, you know.
Will.
Because like I was thinking of in the wilderness, they were going like around in a circle, right?
Right, the unbelieving. Right.
But who's the one that went to the promised land?
Right, the one that believed.
Joshua
and Caleb, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This hope is a strong and trustworthy anchor for our souls. It leads us through the curtain into power's inner sanctuary.
And that's what this does. There's a curtain of reality between us and the Lord. Esau's trying to go through the curtain by shooting rockets up in the air. through witches and warlocks and doing seances and shit like that. But we actually have the power to go beyond the curtain of reality by the spirit that dwells on these words. That's why we're able to look into the future and go back into the past and apply it to the present. That's an intelligence that was given to the Israelites, not given to all the other nations. That's why we have salt. That's why we have the light. It's because the power is with us. That's why they wish they could do what we do. Michael Jackson, they said when the elite of the music business got around him, they said it was like a little girl looking at her crush, because the way he was able to manipulate the people, they wish they had that power. Like, you ain't going to see no Rothschild speaking to millions of people because he don't got the power to do that. He's going to use Jake. He's going to use even a light-skinned Jake, you know, to put out a certain message, like McGregor, right? When he did his meeting with Chris Tucker in the lodge. You know, that shows you the elite know who we are. It was us that lost who we were in slavery under these Edomites. But now we're remembering ourselves. And they didn't tell us. It was by the Spirit. Go ahead.
This is the last one here.
Okay.
Yahushua had already gone in there for us. He has become our eternal high priest in the order of Melchizedek.
Melchizedek.
Yeah.
Yahushua, which when he met Abraham, and Abraham slew all those heathen kings to keep his nephew safe. And that shows you the will of the Lord. When the Lord gives us that power, hey, there ain't going to be no negotiations. We're just going to lay everything down. It's going to bow before us, tremble before us. Oh, it says they're going to applaud. You see the Korean dictator? When they see Israelites, they're like, oh, 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 cover up themselves, terrified. Get down on the ground, make their babies, get down, hurry. No, don't look. Because they're going to be terrified of us, because we're going to re-educate them when we get them in slavery. So everything we do is going to be precious in the sight of the heathen. You see, and they're going to even go against their own people to get in order with us, because there's going to be rewards and consequences. You see? So that, just like when we were in slavery. All right, you think you're going to get something from your master? Hey, there may not even be a reward. We just damn tell you to do it. And you better do it. You know, and even if you do it, and the Lord put the Spirit upon us to carry out judgment, that's how it's going to be. It really don't matter how you feel about it. You heathen don't really matter. Like a cow, you're going to chop that thing up and eat it. Go ahead.
Go back to Psalm 37.
Yeah, the one that you were reading.
Yeah. This is the book of Psalm 37, starting at verse 6. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday.
See, and that's what we're doing right now. In fact, at high noon right now, we're bringing out this truth just like the sun comes out on a regular basis, constantly, right? The sun doesn't fail to not rise, and there's a promise, you know, that the sun, it was always to continue in the moon in its order. That means our power was ruling. So rejoice every day that you wake up, because when you see that sun, not that we worship it, nor the moon, but know that the Lord's commands are still in order. He's ruling. That's why first comes the moon, then the day, the evening, then the day, because the Lord is still ruling. Now he's giving it to these heathen, and they tread upon us, the princes of the power of this earth. So what do you think is going to happen when we get power? There ain't going to be no mercy shown for them. Man, we're gonna get our paybacks in blood.
Double.
Yeah. We're gonna be changing clothes constantly because we're gonna enjoy ourselves doing it. You know? And we're going to breed. We're going to multiply. That's why there ain't going to be no war. It's going to be peace. How could you have all this and have war, be going to war with these different nations? Once it's done and said after that 1,000 years, there ain't going to be no more war and none of that. Everybody's going to be in order. Now, there will be were times where the heathen, they have a guy or a community fall out, and we're going to put them in their place immediately. You know, there ain't going to be no, just like you see someone that was obsessed with the lawn, they'd be looking for one hair out of the place, you know. Where's it at? I know there's one. Every day looking at it, just trimming the garden. That's how it's going to be. We're going to trim the garden. They get out of order, they're going to be put to death.
Rest in the Lord power, Yahweh, and wait patiently for him.
So that's meditating in the scriptures. How do you rest in him? In the scripture. You're meditating on it day and night. Go ahead.
Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass.
Right, because this devil, he got all these fucking plans, right? In his secret societies, he got technology. He got what was the greatest military of the history of the world of men, right? But guess what? All that shit don't matter. Because guess what? The power of this earth that created everything and all the elements that you have made against us, they serve us. Even you. You're serving your purpose as an adversary so that fake doesn't get against us. It just like, you know how you comb a hair when you're cutting the hair to make sure everything's in order? They'll use a comb and the long hair will stand out, right? So then you trim it so it gets in order. So that's all that's happening. The truth is being revealed. Whether you're righteous or whether you're wicked, whether you serve the Lord or you don't. You know? Some men may have thought they were Israelites and they may be heathen. Some may thought they were heathen and find out that they're Israelites. All right? The Lord's revealing truth on many levels. Go ahead.
Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil.
Right, because knowing that all this is preordained. It's the Lord working. That's what he wants you to do, is see him working in this movement of life that he does before you. We're witnesses. Witnesses are just watching what happens. Everything is being played out in front of us. And then what do? Give a report of what we witnessed. See? Go ahead.
For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh shall inherit the earth.
Which the Lord said, you're going to fall 7 times. You're gonna be in constant battle in your mind. That's part of the iniquity of being in this flesh. Is that sometimes you feel like you don't believe, but as you work it out in your mind, the Lord's going to strengthen you, and you're going to say, "Hey, the Lord's with me." And then that's why the scriptures are there. So one, so that you could examine yourself, but also so that you could go against these fiery arrows that Esau's shooting at you, like these men that don't believe. You know, that like these agents, right? You got other people in different places with false accusations of what it's going to be. Trump, he's telling you it's going to be like this. He's going to send you to the Guantanamo Bay and do all these things to you. Who the fuck is you? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai created this earth and created everything, including the people. See?
He wants to be up there with the Most High, Yahweh Hashem, especially Son Yahushua. But, you know, that'll never happen.
Right? Lord willing, as it says, we shall say, right? Which the Lord is willing. He gave us his word.
Yep.
That's why we could be so bold in our faith of our deliverance by Yahweh Shai. We're not doing this to buy our way in. This is part of our salvation. 1 Corinthians 1:18. This is the message of salvation. This is the beginning. Gathered together, the Spirit say, come. The bride say, come. And let everyone that hear this message say, come. We're saying, come to Yahweh Shai, but we're also commanded to say, come to the Israelites. Hey, be with us. Be gathered unto Yahweh Shai. The truth. If you are an Israelite, turn from the lie that who they teach you as Jesus Christ in these false churches, being a so-called white man, which is a lie. Believe in Yahweh Shai. Believe in Yahweh. The word of Yahweh speaks of Yahweh Shai. And it tells us that they're going to make an implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, mandatory for buying and selling. All right? And if you take that, you're going to be condemned with this place because the Lord's getting rid of this. All right? And Esau was given this technology. All right? So that those nuclear missiles could come down upon his kingdom. All right? Go ahead.
And you got to get along with their program because, they want you to think a certain way,
Yeah.
Talk a certain way.
Oh, that's what that chip's going to do. It's going to make you do it.
Yeah. And if you don't do it, they got other means of punishing you.
Which they're going to deceive you to do it. That's why they're talking about no food on the shelves.
Yeah.
Blackout in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
All that shit is because they're a fear monger. All right? They use fear of death to control the people and weaken them. All right? But we don't have to fear death because Yahweh Shai overcame death. That's why it says we're not even going to love our lives unto the death. It ain't that we don't have nothing here we love, right? Because the Lord gave us lives here, right? But it's that we know that we have a sure word of prophecy. Something's coming. Whether you believe or not, it don't really matter, but for them that believe. All right? Because the Lord's coming to convince you of what you don't believe. You're going to meet him, and you're not going to meet him like a man. Say you had a beef with somebody, and the daddy would send the son, and he's coming up, hit the curb, boom, 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 hit the gate. Who the fuck's out here? Who wants to throw hands, right? He's not going to meet you like that. That's how a man would meet you. He's going to meet you as a God from heaven on a chariot, a so-called UFO, fit for judgment. It's going to shoot fire out of it. And he's coming with the angels of heaven, the host of heaven, and he's going to have control over the men on earth and the rockets, the missiles, the nuclear destruction. See? And it's all coming together to meet Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
This is Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. ESV says, therefore the children share in flesh and blood. He himself likewise partook of the same things, that through death he might destroy the one who has the power of death. That is the devil.
Right. That is the devil, the so-called white man. That's why he tries to say what? There's going to be famine. Why? Because who has the power to hide the food so that there be famine, death, and destruction? Who's controlling the nuclear missiles? Who's building CERNs? You see, it's the so-called Caucasian. That's the power that's with him. That's the left hand of our power. He's a sword, a weapon of mass destruction. That's why he produces things like that. But mercy is going to be received to the Israelites, and that's why all these people have been documented in history as being peace-loving, merciful people, all right, but also they have the ability of being the most wickedest, even beyond the wicked of Edom. All right, Jake, they'll go deep into wickedness. All right, and that's why the Lord has to destroy the 2/3. They're gone beyond returning. So he's going to burn them up and then bring them back in new bodies through the elect and that remnant, the entire 1/3 that are saved. There's going to be children produced that are going to take over this earth, and we're going to reign in righteousness. Everything's going to be able to prosper under our hands. You know, they've been coming out saying that the Amazon is not just an accident that just happened. They said it was all them Jake that were in there controlling the land, setting up gardens and orchards and all these things for a long ass time, thousands of years, and that's what you got today as the Amazon. You see, because Jake was ruling this land. All right, and they lie to you and say that we were savage, but we were very organized, social. All right, we had civilizations, golden cities that were destroyed by the so-called white man. Go ahead.
It's 1 Corinthians chapter 15, starting at verse 54. When the perishable put on the imperishable, and the mortal put on immortality, then shall come to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory.
Right. When you focus on the truth and not the perishable food, right? You ain't worried about this world, realizing the Lord is in control of all this. He ain't going to leave you on a corner starving. All you got to do is ask and ye shall receive. Literally, that's the blessing giving to Jacob. That's why Laban, when he asked Jacob, what do you want for your pay? Right? Because he worked for the daughters, but he stayed long enough to get him rich, because it says Laban wasn't as rich until Jacob showed up, because the Lord gave him an herb to give to those goats, and he gave it to his goats, the spotted one, the imperfect ones, and they multiplied. You see? So that, you know, and that was like a symbolic reference and metaphor or parabolic speech talking about the Israelites today, that we get this truth, and really we're going to multiply in this truth because we're spreading it to each other. And it's an intimate thing because it's only for the Israelites, and it's only for the ones that the Lord has chosen to receive salvation. See? Right.
O death, where is your victory? O death, where is your sting?
Right, so what you worried about? We got everything. Even if you die, you know, I'm telling you, watch that movie Bliss. Bliss, B-L-I-S-S. They show you. They die, they overdose on purpose. And when they, it's like if they woke up from a sleep on the other side. And they wake up to a dark-skinned man. Hey, how you doing? Here you go, here's some juice. Here you go. And they wake up and they're rich. They own islands and everything. They're out there swimming in the ocean all night long, making love. And he only had one woman. Just think if this man had all these women. But when he came back to the real world, which they call the real world,
yeah,
he was eating next to garbage cans pretty much. He was eating good, clean food, but he was a poor man sitting next to the trash can, just waiting because he had no money to do nothing. And his mind was focused on this other reality.
Oh yeah.
So he couldn't operate here in this reality proper.
Yep.
See, it's a heavy movie. I recommend it. Bliss. All right, and have a spiritual eye when you watch it, because it shows you, hey, the elect, what it is we remember our past lives. We remember through what? The Holy Spirit. We remember the Lord. We remember His Father. We remember what they said would happen through His Word. We remember.
Is that on Netflix?
I think so. I don't know. It might be too late. What you got? Just Google it.
Check it out. The sting of death is sin, and the power of sin is the law. But thanks be to power who gives us the victory through our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach.
Right. Which He told us He's our Savior, right? He was sacrificed for us. But then we're walking uprightly like we've been commanded to. Just like you see these athletes that are fighting for a crown, you gotta fight lawfully, right? You gotta operate according to their rules. So in this thing, we have rules, and Yahushua is gonna make it permanent when he returns. But we're supposed to practice these rules, just like boxing, right? You can't tackle someone in boxing. That's not part of the rules. That's against the rules. So when you go into a boxing gym or any other form of art, whether it was any art or discipline, which really the beginning of this knowledge is what? Being a disciple. You learn the rules of how you're supposed to operate. You see? Now, when you practice them, are they going to be perfect every time? No. But once in a while, you're going to see that, hey, the Lord's dealing with me. I understand this. I know what's going on. And then you learn the rules over time, right? You're not a master right away, but if you stay in it long enough, you earn the respect of being a master, and you teach others. See? And you're hoping that they're going to try to be better than you. Right? Go ahead.
For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be.
Right. So when it gets real bad, we're going to say, remember, this guy ain't going to be forever. It's going to get real bad out here, but we're going to rejoice because this ain't going to be forever. We know this is only for a short period of time before we receive everything forever and ever and ever and ever. Which even Esau is reporting that there's new earths being discovered. See? There's a sure word of prophecy. So don't think that you're just going to be, chilling in one spot for all eternity. We're going to be doing all kinds of things. We're going to have systems running on this place. We're going to be involved in the control of resources on this earth. We're going to be the ruling class. And that's why what do princes do is they learn how to rule. See? Nowadays, you send your kids to fucking public education and a freaking psychopath might go in there, a serial killer, right? But it wasn't like that in the ancient world. You would set them up with teachers, tutors, that would really be even amongst your family, and they would train them up in certain skills. Even the girls, they weren't just wild. They were trained up in a certain way of behaving. A delicate daughter, you know what I'm saying? So when she came to marriage, she wasn't all fucked up. She was, it's just like getting grapes. If you got a grape, you don't want the fucked up grape. You want one that's perfect, juicy, perfect. Well, that's how we wanted our children. They would be raised up by tutors, educated to prosper in this world and let the earth prosper with you. That's why the people are going to rejoice when the righteous rule. Go ahead.
But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
And see, it says, not all Israel is of Israel, but the meek shall inherit the earth. The ones that are willing, the ones that understand, hey, this is the way the Lord's going to make things operate, and I'm with it. Which really, it's a different lifestyle than living in this way now. You're pretty much just going to be chilling. I'm telling you, doing what you love, what you're going to be it says our words can't even describe it, but when you watch just nature in itself, what do animals do as a flock? They're out there enjoying the light of the sun, eating, laying down, popping this one, popping that one. But see, we're beyond that, so we're going to build. We're going to have slaves, and we're going to use them to build for us. You want a pool, but you're going to set it up so magnificent, because you got to remember, history shows you that this place has constantly been in a state of war, which does what? It stops inventions. It stops technology. So just think of a time of peace where technology is able just to be increased and increased. You see? Just like in the making of this earth. the Elohim made this in 7,000 years with the Lord. It wasn't overnight. See, you got to use it. Like if a kid was to play a game for years, he would know how to tell you, hey, you should have done this, you should add this, you should take this away. That's how the elect are. See? We're here to tell you how it should be. But in that robot attacking those scientists, what they say, it was a misspelled word. That's real spiritual. Because we're telling you correct truth, and that's having a great effect. Go ahead.
It says, this is chapter 37, verse 12. The wicked plotted against the just,
right,
and gnasheth upon him with his teeth.
And what'd you say? They're saying that Trump's going to use the military?
Yeah, the military, he's trying to pass a thing within 90 days. That's the period that he's given to that whatever she is, Pam Bondi, I think. And she's talking with, he wants her and the Pentagon to work together to see what they could do to bring that about, you know.
So why is he doing it? Because the Lord said he would do it. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to bite down on us with their military. Those are the teeth of this man's beast system. All right? But what the Lord say he's going to do? He's going to raise the standard when they come down like a flood. When you watch that movie Civil War, there's a part where they say, flood the room. That's what it's talking about. They don't know what they're doing. They ain't got the right to say anything good or evil. They ain't got the right to even think evil against us. We are the princes of power. How dare they speak of us in an evil way, think of us in an evil way. You see, our power is going to put them down. We don't have to do nothing. We don't have to avenge ourselves, but we have to wait upon our power. And this word is called an accusation. It accuses and it defines. You see, in a court of law, you got laws, books that tells you how to judge certain matters, and it grows. The library, as certain situations play out, they'll say this case or that, right? Which they'll put it in there how it played out, and you go into there and look into it to know how to judge. And this is what the Bible is. It tells us of the things that we overcame as a people in our power, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, and how to judge these things. See? But the rest of these people, they're going to bug out because they don't got no fucking clue what to do. They're going to go out there and try to fight the government and be put to death. Little drones just go over there and boom, blow them up. You see? A robot dog. They'll blow the dog up with you. Because they got them mass produced. They don't give a shit. See? But what's going to save us from this is Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, spiritual divine intervention. Alright? Esau's not a spiritual man, but he knows it's there. That's why he has laboratories. That's why he's involved in the left hand, like dark magic. It's because he knows there's a spiritual realm, but he's not connected to it because it's with us. The spiritual part of this world is with the Israelites. It's not with these other nations. Even though the other nations are able to see like that they're spirits, they don't have the spiritual eye to know that the Israelites are the supreme and they should bow before us right now. Because the Lord didn't give them that understanding. The wicked shall not understand. You see? They're going to go against us, and the Lord's going to break them in the process. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 11, ESV, woe to the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for what his hands have dealt out shall be done to him.
Right. He built all this shit. It ain't going to go to waste. The Lord's going to give power to his men, and they're going to try to take them. And, we don't know exactly how it's going to play out detail by detail. But, hey, you ain't going to do nothing. And he's going to show it. His love for Jacob and his hatred for Esau, just as he prophesied. You're going to see it. You're going to say, there's a spirit with him. Like the Egyptians say, this is the hand of God. And it's going to be showing favor to the Israelite that believes in Yahushua more than the 2/3, but even those 2/3, hey, they're going to be able to fucking enjoy their slaughter as they go to war with these Edomites. Those monsters that Esau built with broken homes. You know, these little young motherfuckers running around with guns. Esau made them as a weapon. He weaponized them in these ghettos with urban combat training against each other. And then Esau's going to try to go against them, and the Lord's going to let them have their way. That's why the bodies are going to be stacked up. It says like piles of shit all over. Go ahead.
The wicked plotted against the just. This is Psalms 37, verse 12.
Right, they're plotting right now. Are they not having secret meetings of what they're going to try to do against us?
Right.
Of how they're going to bring out the implantable microchip and make it mandatory. Of how they're going to arrest them preaching from the Bible and send them all over the world to be beat to death. Well, who the hell are you, proud man, to speak against the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai? Like King David said, remember with Goliath, who the fuck is this heathen speaking against us? Going against the supreme being's army. Submit yourself. Bow before us. And don't be promising no mercy. There ain't no mercy coming from us. There ain't no fucking, what did he say? They're going to learn to love America. No. America is not even going to be remembered.
Yep.
It's going to be a desert. See? The pride of this man, Edom. You don't just go against the Lord and declare all these things. You forgot. Just like they forgot Joseph in the ancient world, right? It says there was a new Pharaoh and he forgot Joseph, that the power was with Joseph, and he enslaved the Israelites. And what happened? The Lord showed that the power was with the Israelites. He crushed Pharaoh and his military. That's what's about to happen now. The Lord is freeing us. He's going to deliver us by sending his son Yahushua. But at the same time, he's going to crush the kingdom of spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great, America. And he's going to crush their army in the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley of judgment. Go ahead.
Against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth.
See, that's happening right now. That's a sure word of prophecy. He's coming down, hoping to destroy us with his teeth, with his military. But what's going to happen? Go ahead.
But the Lord shall laugh at him for
which this is why we laugh. This is why sometimes you hear things and you start laughing.
Yeah.
That's the Lord laughing through you. Because you're like, this foolish man. He thinks that's going to go against the Lord. You are a man and not God. Your horses are flesh and not spirit. Go ahead.
For he seeth that his day is coming.
He knows it's coming. All the signs of the times, all these prophecies coming to pass. Come on. He knows. He's calculating everything. He's measuring statistics. Who's watching what videos? What are they doing in their private time? He sees the conversions taking place. Just like you could see the weeds or something taking over another place of land. You see it over time. It takes place. You say, dang, you see that? There's a bunch of flowers. Like flowers, a good example, lilies, right? Because the lilies are used to explain, talk about the elect and prophecy. And if you ever seen flowers take over a field, hey, there'll be flowers over here, but then next year it'll be over there. And then next year you'll see them all over, and then you'll say, dang. You know, you didn't see every moment of it, but it happens in front of you, you know? Go ahead.
The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy.
Right, which they're going to use those nuclear missiles to do what? Destroy America, all right? But who's here? The prophets. See? So it's going to destroy their kingdom. We're going to be taken out of this place in the blink of an eye, and we're going to be in the chariots. All right, look it up. Google it. UFO sightings, number one, America, because we're here, and they're ready to jump in and interfere with any foul play. Just like Satan said to Yahushua, if you threw yourself off the pinnacle of the temple, the angels will come and save you so that you don't even smack your foot against a stone, because that ain't prophesied. But what did Yahushua say? Don't tempt the Lord. He already knew.
Yeah.
See? That's how we are. We are already in the know. Why? Because the Lord told us so that we wouldn't be offended. In the holy word do we walk in the presence of that light. Go ahead.
And we're, as the elect, going out like other camps, spreading the good news of the gospel to edify, to warn you, to build you up in the spirit.
Right, so that you might have a chance at salvation, being an Israelite. That's really what we're doing. Just like it says, the Spirit says, come. The bride says, come. The Spirit is on the bride. The bride is the elect. And it says, and everyone that hears this truth and believes, you say, come. To Yahushua, come. But at the same time, we're calling you into this fold, into this flock. Go ahead.
And needy and to slay such as the upright conversation.
Right, so they want to destroy us. Because of what? Our upright conversation. What we're doing right now. We're reading from the Bible. See, the lie is America is a Christian country, but in fact it's a demonic country. Christianity is a church of Satan. You see? They are deceiving the world with their lies. Alright? And that's why the world's shocked when these other countries, tell the Edomite go pound sand, because that's unheard of. They worship this so-called white man in his system. That's why you got the Chinese wearing what? Suits. That came through Esau. That wasn't their idea. Even though they produce all this material and poison their own land to do so, who are they serving? Serving Esau. See, so Esau is ruling the world. All right? And that's who the Lord's coming to make war with. But these heathen are confederate against the Israelite, his children. Now 2/3 are with the heathen. They're traitors to the kingdom. So they're going to be expelled. They're going to be destroyed. All right? But the elect, that's who we're looking for. The elect. So that we could iron against iron, sharpen each other, so that we could prepare to meet our Maker, right? Just like a bride preparing to meet her husband on the wedding day. What does she do? She washes herself and changes her garment, which that's what we're receiving. You may have been a Roman Catholic in the past. You may have been a Christian in the past. You may even said you're an atheist. I don't believe in none of these religions in the past. But if you really believe in the Bible, the Word of Yahweh, just it's just a spirit that's in you, for you, and you're drawn to it. Really, that means you're an Israelite, because you'll even act out the behaviors without even knowing it. It's in our DNA. Like I hate crab and shit like that. Lobster, shrimp. I never was really drawn to it, but there was just a spirit on me. I knew it was just like an instinct. I didn't like it. While there's other things that were sins that I was drawn to, through which we were in sinful flesh. But when a spirit is involved with you making a decision, all right, that's because we're spiritual people. And really, if you ain't in this truth, you're a witch, a warlock. Whoopi Goldberg shows you that in the movie Ghost. The WEF, who do you think they went to go get to blow on them? Did they go get a Russian? Did they go get a Ukrainian? Did they go get a European? No, they got a South American from one of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. See, because we're a spiritual people, the spirits are connected to us, but on the right hand side is the Bible, our instruction. Go ahead.
Fine.
You got anything? No, I got some.
Go ahead and get yours first.
All right. I got Psalm 51, and it talks about the iniquity of going back and forth in the flesh and in the spirit. All right. That's the iniquity of having this flesh and struggling in faith. But that's why it's called the fight of faith. You know, you really gotta fight in this truth. You gotta hold to this truth. You can't let nothing or no one take your crown. All right, lose the faith in this truth. And that's why this truth, you gotta be in the actions of it, right? Bearing the fruits of it. Like if you're studying, all right, and you're only getting one video out of it, you need to apply it to more videos. Stay more busy in it. See? Because that's how it fades from you. The scriptures tell you that in James. The Lord don't bring no man into the truth to throw him out of the truth. All right? Unless he's a heathen. But otherwise than that, it's your own flesh desiring this world that pulls you out of the truth. Out of believing. See, that's why you really shouldn't look to the heathen to explain anything, like it says in Psalms 1. But this is Psalm 51. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came unto him after he had gone in to Bathsheba, have mercy upon me, O power. So just like I was saying, you know, in that word there, God, it is Elohim. See, well, that one is El. But there's parts in the Psalms where it's speaking of the Elohim and it's prophesying of these days. That's why the Psalms are prophecy. All right? But he's speaking to the actual power. All right? Because it says El, which means God. Allah in the Hebrew. It says, have mercy upon me, O power. And our power, the true name of our power is Yahweh. His son's name is Yahushai. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai. And these are the Israelites, all right, which they're his chosen people. He loves a certain nation, and that nation is the Israelites. And that's why we have the power. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, what was his favorite fighter? Duran. I can't remember his full name. But that was Mike Tyson's favorite fighter. I think his name was Michael Duran. All right? Which was of the Northern Kingdom. You know Michael Jackson? He's not of the Southern Kingdom. He's of the Northern Kingdom. He's a Gadite, a so-called North American Indian. See? Jordan. Why are these men doing great things? It's because the power is with us, the Israelites. All right? It says, O power, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Which in that movie, Spartacus, I think it's the series, there's this part where he just waited and they threw an arrow at him. And, you know, if he got hit, he died. It was his destiny. But then it didn't hit him. It just cut his face. And he got even more into it because he was like, hey, if you was going to kill me, you would have killed me. But now, I already know that you can't kill me, motherfucker. Right? So that gives him that boldness. And that's what the elect have. You can't do nothing against us. You can only do what the Lord allows you. All right? Now, you might have all these fucking dots. You're going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and do this, train for that. But it's not even going to work to what your vain imagination... that's why we're told to cast down our vain imaginations. It's going to work exactly how Yahweh, through his son Yahushai, describes it. It says, and who's the salvation for? The Israelites. We're the ones with the transgressings, and we wash ourselves in the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, wash me thoroughly for mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin, which is his unbelief, which you committing adultery, that shows you don't believe at that moment. See? So that's why the beginning of the commandments is what? Have no other God. We have to go by the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai as our God. When you step out of that, you're serving another God. You see? Now, we're in sinful flesh, born in sin, born in iniquity, all right, but we're not supposed to just give ourselves over to wickedness. It says, and cleanse me from my sin, which it tells you in Ephesians 5 that we're washed by the word. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. I mean, you can't change because we're in these bodies. All right? That's why Yahushai is necessary as our Savior. All right? It says, against thee only have I sinned. Because really, everybody else don't fucking matter. What the fuck does Esau really matter? Right? In fact, Esau was just a weapon that was created against us because we sinned. Who did we sin against? Yahushai is our Savior, but who's He saving us from? From Yahweh's judgment. See? So that's why really when you go back to this word, then you know what you're involved in. And that's why it says put on the whole armor. The armor is to know what you're doing. See? And through what? Through this truth. Know what to say according to this truth. It says, have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest? Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. And that's every man that's born on earth, but it's really dealing with the Israelites. Even Yahushai, he came through what? Mary. Who was his father? Joseph. He was of the lineage of King David. See? So we're just men, but what makes us special is we have the true names of Yahweh and Yahushai, the true power of the universe, the true King of Kings. And we're found favorable in His sight because of our Savior Yahushai. Behold, and that should give us great peace. That's why it sets us apart from the other nations. We're holy. The Lord's going to feed us. These other people, what are they going to do? They're going to go look for food, eat something, and die. Right? Or it's going to eat them. Shit, even their own loved ones. Who's going to put that in their spirit to do that? The Lord is. See? But the Lord's going to give us a spirit of what? Stability. Why? Because we know what's happening. Why it's happening. Who's doing it. What's going to happen. See? It says, behold, thou desireth truth in the inward parts, in the mind. Study to show thyself approved. And in the hidden part, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. That's why every man has to work out his own salvation. Every man in his own time has to sit down and read this Bible and ask the Lord to guide you, which He gave you teachers. That's why He gave us YouTube, so that we could teach all the Israelites all over the world in a moment. We don't have to get on a plane and spend all that time and money and effort. We just do these videos and it reaches the whole world. And then the end shall come. It says, purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean, which wash us in this word. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. I'll be innocent. Make me to hear joy and gladness, which is the prophecies, that the bones which thou hast broken, the Israelites, He scattered us, may rejoice. And that's what we're doing. We're coming back together. We're coming back together because the Lord is moving us as a flock, which He's going to save. And we're being gathered to the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But we're doing it in sinful flesh. What did Yahushai do? He came down in sinful flesh and condemned sin in that flesh. And at the same time, miracles were happening, showing that the power of heaven was with him on earth. See? You got anything?
John, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 8, NLT. To one person, the Spirit gives the ability to give wise advice. To another, the same Spirit gives a message of special knowledge.
There you go. That's why we were in pockets of groups of certain men. Because the Spirit jumps from man to man, you see, and that's to edify and build up. You see? So everything, the Lord, He's controlling everything. Whether you're doing good or evil. Like that man that said he didn't believe. And the Lord, He put that darkness on you. That's why I was talking about the Kentucky Derby. That's darkness in this world. Bread and circus. Just like the NFL season. That's a darkness on this world and a gross darkness on the people. McGregor, UFC. He's part of the Freemasons. He showed his colors with Tuckerson in an interview. It's all set up to distract these people from who we really are. We are the princes of power. We have power with God and with man. You understand? That's why the Lord was able to alter the weather, change the water into the wine, but He also was able to convince the apostles to lay down their life through what? His sacrifice. Showing His faith in the word of Yahweh. That's how we overcome. Is we're looking at Yahushua. Hey, Yahushua laid his life down. Is he still dead? No, he lives. And he lives forever. How should we fear when we're his body and he's our master? See? But you got to focus on the light, the truth, that our maker is the maker of everything. So what could be against us? Go ahead.
This is Psalms 37, verse 15. Their sword shall enter into their own heart.
Boom. Why? Because you can't come against the children of the princes, the Yasharallah, the princes of power. How's that going to work? Our Father is the one that created everything, and He's going to let you just destroy us and take everything from us forever? See? So when they come down with that thought that they're going to be able to get it forever, the Lord is going to destroy them. And we're repenting. He's preparing us for that glory. We're repenting before this happens, so He's going to slide it right over to us. Hey, take care of this. Right? Be fruitful and multiply. What did He tell our forefather? See? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be fruitful and multiply. Go ahead.
And their bows shall be broken.
Right. Who's going to break them? Not us. We don't have the power to break them. The Lord and His angels are coming. Who broke this rocket? Didn't they say they saw Elon Musk fucking rocket getting shot down by chariots? See, we got friends in high places, Esau. We got friends in high places. Our Father Yahweh and our Savior Yahweh Shai. And the angels, they're literally over us waiting, begging. Oh, in that movie Bliss, when they come out, the angel goes, tell me what it's like, because he's an angel. He don't know what life is like on earth. He's never experienced cold or hot or sex or, you know what I'm saying? He's perfect, so he's never experienced being poor and all this, you know? And in that movie Bliss, it literally shows you how it is in the scriptures. It says that. It says the angels wonder what it's like to be in these mortal bodies because they've never been able to experience the things that we're experiencing because we're on a higher level. All right, just like Yahushua, he was greater than the angels, but he experienced hunger. He experienced sex. He experienced all these things in different lifetimes. You know, even when he was, as Yahushua said, he got tired and sat at the well and said, hey, go get the food. And he talked to that heathen woman at the well, right? Because the body, it grows weak You see? Without food. You see? You got any more?
Let's go back to that Psalms 37.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked.
Right? Because guess what? The wicked lose it. Whether it's through backstabbing, whether it's through lawsuits, whether it's through just the Lord wiping out your whole family with a tornado, or sending your kids to die in a war. The Lord is in control of who lives and who dies. See, man don't do nothing but what the Lord says you will do. That's why we don't have to fear these men. They're mortals. Put off that mortal flesh. That's why even in that movie Extraterrestrial, what was that angel, which they showed an alien, a tall, dark alien, which now in the movie Predator, the Predator's coming out with what? Straight up afro, tied up in twists and curls. They're showing you that the angels are dark-skinned men, and that really that power is with us, the Israelites, which originally we all were dark-skinned men. All right? But as we were passed through the slavery, we were allowed to take their women and have children with them. So eventually we changed in our appearance. But that's why the Lord's going to send the angels. The angels know who is an Israelite and who believes in Yahweh Shai. Because as we've been putting this out in the internet, you've been hearing it and thinking. And the Lord knows your heart. See? So we don't have to come to you and say, excuse me, brother or sister, do you believe? You know, we don't have to do that. We're putting it up in the video. Your mind receives it. You have some kind of emotional content in the thought process of it, whether you love it or hate it. And that is all carried back to the Lord by the angels. So when your judgment comes and you get fucking cut in half at work, or your kids get fucking kidnapped and you know what I mean? These horrible things happen to you. That same angel is going to put that thought into your mind. That, hey, why didn't you believe what you heard from the mouth of the prophets of Israel? And the other ones, the heathen and the unbelieving, they're going to say, damn, this is what they said. There was a prophet amongst us. And it tells you that even in the lake of fire, while you're burning, and who knows how long you're going to burn, but it's not forever like the false Christian church tells you, and it ain't under the ground. America is going to be turned into a lake of fire. All right? Go ahead.
I got one. It's Proverbs chapter 10. We start at verse 27, KJV, which reads, the fear of the Lord Yahweh prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened.
It should be shortened. Why? Because they're going to try to come against the just. And the Lord ain't with them. He's with us. See, it's like a person coming against a car. Who's going to win? You know, you might have it in your mind you're going to win.
Yeah.
But when you put your head to the test, you put your money where your mouth is, you're going to lose every time. See, and that's what we are. We are those divine beings with the instruction of salvation. We have victory in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Even if these other Israelites don't want it, it don't matter. The Lord can't deny himself. He made the oath. He will fulfill the oath. Go ahead.
It says, the hope of the righteous shall be gladness.
Right, we're glad to see this place go. We're not all fucking sad. I rejoice. Sometimes I listen to the what they say, horrible news of this place, and like music. I love it. I love it. I want to hear more of it. I want to hear, and I see it from so many avenues because I got, you try to keep up with this stuff, but you got women being put to death by their husbands. You got dudes robbing each other, and they're all being popped. Pop, pop, pop. Dude will pop his ex-chick because she was cheating. Cop pull up, see him do it. Pop him, pop. Right? Cop step out, the freaking car comes and gets him. Bam! Oh, shit! She turned to get it, right? She's terrified. Hit the tree. Bam! So much judgment is happening right now. You see? Rejoice in that. because that shows you our redemption draws near. Remember, the earth to come, the way of manner of life that we're talking about, it's only for a few. It's not for everybody. All these people, they're going to die here. They're going to die some kind of way. And there's more than 1 million ways to die. The internet's been built on that, right? How people have been dying.
Oh, yeah.
Car accidents, fucking falling off of buildings, murder because it was a robbery that went bad, drug overdoses, all this shit. It's the Lord's will to get these people out of the way. Just like Esau bringing that chip, and if you don't take it, hey, you're going to get destroyed. Because the elect, we're going to overcome it. All right? Because that's what the Spirit says in that movie, Bliss. She says her name is Angelica something, which Angelica means angel. But, oh, that's what it was. Angelica Isabella, which is Angelica, angel, and Isabel is the oath of God. You see? And she was ministering to him. And eventually, he chose the fucking dying world instead of the immortal world, you know? And that's what's going to happen. When they bring out that device and make it mandatory, they're going to see the situation they're in. No lights, no food on the shelves, no protection. And a lot of Israelites are going to say, just give me the chip. I got to feed the kids. I got to have shelter. I got to have this. I got to have that. Instead of asking the Lord for it. The Lord is who provides for us. Shit, there ain't no mercy in this man. In fact, during the time of Jacob, it tells you before that, Laban, that when he came up on Jacob, the Lord sent angels to him to warn him, don't say nothing good or evil when you come up on this man. And he came up fast and hard on him, and it said Jacob was scared. And when he went, he said, you know, I have the power to put you to death. Because he had his men with him too, with swords and everything. Right? And Jacob was afraid. And Laban, he said, but the power of your gods came to me in a vision and told me not to touch you, not to do no good or evil to you. Well, right after that, Jacob comes upon Esau, and Esau is very welcoming to him. That's not because Esau is a fucking friendly guy or kind or tender-hearted or merciful, any of that. What it was the angels were fucking with him in his sleep, terrorizing him. And that's why when Jacob tried to give him the convoy of wealth, he didn't want it. It wasn't because all of a sudden Esau's a nice guy. He ain't trying to take everything he can get. It's because those angels came to him at night and told him, don't do no good or evil to this man. So the Lord is even causing our enemies to lose peace in their wicked mind. Right? They're like, oh, we're going to do this. And then they'll have a fear. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. Right? And then they'll go to their witches. It's all bad. It's all bad. I can't. They're too powerful. I can't wrestle with them in that spiritual realm. Their demons are coming back to them subjected. Man, I tried to get that guy. I tried to get him to leave the faith. I can't. That spirit literally took the knee, submitted. That's why it says, if you resist the devil, he'll flee. See? Meditating on this truth, all right, making us stable in this faith, all right, there's nothing that can come against us. Nothing. Where'd you come?
But the expectations of the wicked shall perish.
But all their technology, their robots, their robot dogs, their drones, their laws, the building where they do these things, all of this is going to be removed from the earth. Their memory is going to be removed. There will never be a day where you ever see an Edomite after that 1,000 years. Never. Never. Never.
even these the Holy Scriptures that we're reading, terrorizing Esau.
Right.
You know,
Because it says it don't come back void. It comes into fruition, which that word fruition talks about the manifestation of a fruit. Right? You plant a seed, it's not an apple, but what does it produce at the end of it growing into a tree, maturing, is an apple. See? So that fruition, this small seed of faith amongst the remnant right here has grown into a great thing that covers the whole entire earth through the internet, like a web. They got caught up in their own web.
a spider web.
But we're anointed, so it don't stick to us.
Right.
You see?
We have that oil.
We have that oil. We're lubricated.
Gotta have that oil.
And that's why we're laughing at them.
Yeah.
We're laughing at them. And they know it. They're watching us, trying to search out ways to try to persecute us. Right? Oh, we'll get them over there. No, we can't. Oh, because we're living upright. We're speaking upright. Right? And our power is with us. That's why we're doing that. That's why they're going to say, the power is with him. This is the hand of God. I've never seen nothing like it. Look at that.
That's why
It says national carriers, which we're carriers of this message. It says the elite feet. And the feet, fleet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fleet though, that's the trucks,
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
It's going to take more carriers.
I didn't see the owl because that pipe right there.
Oh, yeah.
I saw feet. I was like, yeah, that's heavy. But fleet, it's the same thing. What carries all these things to the stores in your neighborhood is these trucks. Hey, what's carrying, and what do the trucks run on? A web of highways.
Right.
Right? That's what the highway of the internet is, just a web of different connections to other people in other parts of the world.
Right.
In different languages, right? Different diets, different everything. But we're telling them the same thing. Yahweh is going to send his son, Yahweh back. And this is what you should expect. A dark-skinned Israelite. Yahweh is the true name of the Messiah. And before he comes back, all right, they're going to make an implantable microchip mandatory for buying and selling worldwide. That's why they've been getting rid of your citizenship, all the laws that you know of and are used to. They're changing them because this is a new world order.
It's a fascism.
Fascist.
Fascist.
Yeah.
Authoritarian.
Right, and that's why you got fascists in the U.S. buildings. It's a Roman symbol of being stronger as one. Everybody coming together in that new world order. You see, but the Lord ain't down with it. He ain't down with it. So what he do? He sent the Alahayim. What he do in the time of the Tower of Babel? They were all trying to come together and build this tower. He sent the Alahayim. And what happened? They prophesied. The things happened that they said. The languages were changed. And they weren't able to continue in coming together. So now all these different nations have the technology to speak to each other in all their different languages, right? The microchip, what do you name? Klaus Schwab, will be able to know what you're thinking. I'll know what he's thinking. And you'll know what I'm thinking with that chip, right? So they think that they can do business together on a high level all throughout the earth and rule the world as a God, as a man. But it ain't going to work. The Lord ain't going to let you come together all together because it's for the Israelites to rule. The Lord never created you to be together. Just like you have different herds, and you know the farmer who will separate the white cow from the black cow, from the red cow. Well, that's what's going to happen. The nations are going to be separated. We were never to be together as everybody calls this place a melting pot. The Lord He's not for that shit. He made everything pure. All right, and Esau is trying to make everything impure. You know, like bananas. There's 1,000 bananas, but Esau go try to take a lemon and cross it with a banana and do all kinds of fucked up shit. Make it impure.
Make it seedless.
Yeah, make it seedless. So the Lord's coming back to set everything back in order, and He's going to hand the keys of this place, which He already done, you know, to the Israelites, the elect of these people. Starting with Peter, he said, you have the keys of life and death, of heaven and hell. This is the gates of heaven, and if you go with the world, which is broad, hey, that's hell, because you're going to have to go into that nuclear destruction. All right? Go ahead.
It's a lot of madness, you know.
Yeah. But it's not hard to see. It's simple. It's not like we're telling you something strange in a strange language. You're seeing it happen all the way around you, but you're so fucking ignorant, willfully ignorant to it. That's why the Lord, you're not pliable no more.
It says, the way of the Lord power Yahweh is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity.
Right. So like they say, hey, this place is going to cease. Right? Hey, that brings me straight, man. I'm glad. Man, when they talk about the school system shutting down, all these things shutting down, man, I rejoice. I feel good. When they say the stock market hit the greatest lows,
Yeah.
I rejoice. I'm like, oh man, we're almost there. Now we're not there because that chip ain't made mandatory yet. But see, Esau, he's dragging his feet because he's afraid. He's really afraid. He's more afraid than we are. That's why really you shouldn't even fucking bother with fear, but the fear of the Lord. You know?
Anything with Esau's vein anyway.
Yeah. Esau's fucking scared. That's why he's building bunkers. That's why he's like, please, don't abandon me. Please, let's make an oath to each other. When I fight, you fight with me. Because they can't handle our power. Go ahead.
The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth.
Right? So what we have a promise, a guarantee, is that the Lord ain't going to ever forsake us. And these prophecies are sure to come to pass, which we have history. Look into the history. Before the kingdoms of Greece and Rome, even further than that, the Medes and the Persians, it was prophesied. All right, even back in Egypt, remember, our people were known as prophets. The Pharaoh, he had the dream of 3 years, you know, of certain years of fatness, and then certain years, I believe it was 7 years of fatness and 7 years of famine. And Joseph was able to break that down just like Daniel in the time of Nebuchadnezzar. Right? So we are the prophets. We know exactly what's going to happen in the future because we could see it in present time through the word of Yahweh, which was given to us in the past. To our people, they had visions and they wrote the visions down. They didn't know what they meant. We know what they mean now because we have an increase of spirit. We have the Holy Spirit. And we could break these scriptures down because it's for us to know so that we could put ourselves in position according to the playbook. Go ahead.
The mouth of the God, this is NLT, the mouth of the godly person gives wise advice, but the tongue that deceives will be cut off.
See, cut off the false prophets. And that's what you're seeing. Just like that leader, you know, of Great Millstone, Ohio. Hey, he got cut off. Why? Because it ain't for him. Whether he's an Israelite or not, hey, it ain't for him.